Hey guys, so today I just want to do a really quick video and talk about daylight savings time. So we just hit the fallback portion of daylight savings time just over a week ago. I know a lot of my friends, they're always complaining about daylight savings time and they're saying, I wish we could just abolish this. It's so depressing when it gets so dark so early now once we do the fallback. I wanted to know a little bit more about it. So I did some Googling and I was actually really surprised at what I found. And I'm going to tell you 3 things that I learned today about daylight savings time and do a really quick video breaking it down for you. So the first thing that you hear about daylight savings time a lot of the times is that it's for the farmers. That's actually not true at all. And in fact, in 1918, when the United States actually adopted daylight savings time, the farmers were opposed to it. They actually went out against it. And when you think about it, it doesn't actually make sense why they would be for daylight savings time. Because when we spring forward until the time that we fall back, the sun rises an hour later for the majority of their growing season. So they don't get the longest part of the day unless they want to work later into the evening, which who wants to do that? Farmers are known for getting a very early start and working their day earlier in the day. Most likely the reason that people associate daylight savings time with farmers is the fact that the farmers were so strongly opposed to it, they just became inextricably linked to the subject matter of daylight savings time. But make no mistake, they weren't and probably are not for it at all. So that's a myth. Okay, so the second thing about daylight savings time, it was actually enacted because of lobbying on the behalf of corporate groups. So companies, businesses, they wanted daylight savings time. They wanted sunlight to be later in the day, so there was more likelihood of consumers actually shopping later into the day. And what's even crazier is there was actually a portion of lobbying coming from candy companies because they felt that there would be more candy sold if the sun set later during Halloween. Kids would feel more comfortable and parents would feel more comfortable taking their kids out longer during Halloween for trick-or-treating and thus more candy sales. So it had nothing to do with farmers and it actually had something to do with the opposite of what farmers grow, junk food. And the third thing about daylight savings time that I think nobody really knows about is what time we're actually going to go back to, right? People always say, oh, I hate daylight savings time. It gets so dark so early in the winter. I wish we could just go back to how it was before and not have daylight savings time. Oh, it's so depressing. But that's not actually what's going to happen if we cancel daylight savings time. I was like, how are they going to decide what time to pick? It's actually really simple because I never noticed. So I live in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. And when I went and checked the clock the morning of the daylight savings time fell back, it said Eastern Standard Time. All previous during the year, I never noticed that when I would look up what time it was or, when the weather was going to be bad at what time specifically, just looking up the time on the internet, it said whatever time it was again, EDT, Eastern Daylight Time. And I went, guys, EDT is the shifted daylight time. So spring forward and fall back isn't just fall back because they want to say the word fall. It's falling back into the line of the actual standard time zone. When you're springing forward, we're springing out of step with the original time, and then we're falling back into it. If we were to stop doing daylight savings time, it would still get dark this early in the winter. It's the longer days in the summer that you're actually getting from daylight savings time. The shorter days in the winter have nothing to do with daylight savings time. So most likely what people actually want when they're complaining about daylight savings time is just generally it to shift forward in the spring and then not go back. I was actually pretty happy for the fallback portion of daylight savings time because I get up pretty early in the morning and it's really annoying to get up at like 7 in the morning and have it be dark until 7:45. And now, since it fell back, it was actually sun was up by 7 o'clock. So that was a huge benefit for me. I don't know if anybody knows about this. Tell me in the comments section if you guys know about this, but I was definitely so unaware in general about daylight savings time, about the history of daylight savings time. This is a super impromptu video. The sun's setting because of daylight savings time right now, and it's only 3:45. The sun's almost set behind the building, so my room's getting quite dark. I'm gonna have to finish this video up now, and I will see you in the next one.